Okay, we've all been there, right? You're staring down a huge decision and you've got that knot of financial uncertainty in your stomach. Well, today we're gonna untangle that knot. We're gonna show you how to go from just guessing to building a real confident strategy.
You know the feeling. Maybe you're launching a business or thinking about a big investment. You do the research, you make the pro-con lists, but at the end of the day, it still feels like you're just throwing a dart at a board in the dark. It's paralyzing. But what if you didn't have to guess? What if you had a handful of really powerful, surprisingly simple tools, the same kind the pros use, to actually map out the possibilities and make smarter choices? Well, that's the toolkit we're putting together today.
So first things first, before you can even think about profits, you have to know what it takes just to stay afloat. This is the absolute foundation of any financial plan. It's your starting line.
Now, I know the official definition sounds a little dry, but the idea behind it is so powerful. It's all about finding that magic number where you're not making money yet, but, and this is crucial, you're not losing any either. So to make this super clear, let's pretend we're starting our own food truck. That's it. That's the whole question right there. Just for a second, forget about profit. You've got the truck lease, all the ingredients, the permits. So how many tacos do we have to sell just to end the day back at zero? And boom, after we run the numbers, this is it, 210. Now, this isn't just some goal. This is our survival number. This is the bare minimum. Every single day, profit doesn't even start until we sell taco number 211. And just knowing that number changes everything. And this chart just shows it perfectly. Look, on the left, you've got all your costs for the day. Let's say they add up to 840 bucks. And on the right, once you sold 210 tacos, you've got exactly 840 bucks in revenue. The scales are perfectly balanced. That is your break-even point. All right, so 210 tacos a day is our baseline. But how solid is that number really? How fragile is our whole plan? Well, our next tool is all about stress testing our assumptions. It's time for us to play What If? Okay, another one of those textbook definitions. But here's what it really means. It's about poking one part of your plan to see how much the rest of it wiggles. It's how you find your biggest weakness. You know, for our taco truck, a huge part of our cost is avocados. And their prices can be, well, a little unpredictable. So what happens to our whole business if our avocado guy suddenly doubles the price on us? And just look at the impact. It's immediate and it's huge. That one single price change just slashed our profit on every single taco we sell by a third. All of a sudden, our break-even point of 210 tacos is totally wrong. We'd have to sell way more. See? We just used sensitivity analysis to find a major weak spot in our business, the price of avocados. So now we know our baseline, and we found our biggest risks. Our final tool, scenario analysis, lets us weave all these different variables together to tell some stories about what the future might actually look like. This is where we stop looking at just one thing at a time, like the price of avocados. Now, we start combining a few different factors to paint a much more complete picture of a possible day. For our taco truck, this is where it gets really real. Because let's be honest, you're not gonna have a perfectly average day every day. Some days are gonna be fantastic and some are just gonna be awful. So let's actually build out what those stories look like. Check this out. In our worst case, it's a rainy day, nobody's out, we only sell 150 tacos. That's way below our break even, and we actually lose $240. Ouch. The likely case, that's just a normal day. We sell 250 tacos, we beat our break even, and we make a solid 160 bucks in profit. Nice. But then there's the best case. It's a sunny street festival, there's a huge crowd, and we slang 400 tacos. We walk away with $560. Now we have a real, concrete range of outcomes we can actually plan for. So you see, these aren't just 3 random models. They're actually a really powerful step-by-step toolkit that takes you from a simple question all the way to a sophisticated strategy. Let's just quickly recap that process. You start with break-even to find your foundation, your survival number. Then you use sensitivity analysis to test your assumptions and find all your weak spots. And finally, you use scenario analysis to model a few different plausible futures. Foundation, test, model. It's a workflow for getting clarity. And that is the real point of all this. These tools aren't just for number crunching on a spreadsheet. They're for turning raw data, like the cost of an avocado or the chance of rain, into real actionable insight. It's about turning what you know into a smarter decision about what you're gonna do.
So the era of pure guesswork can be over. You now have a framework to stop asking, oh no, what if I'm wrong? And start asking, what needs to be true for me to succeed? You've got the tools to go from uncertainty to strategy. So the only question left is, what future are you going to build?